Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I'm your host Dylan Cooper with the constant co-host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, I am back from vacation, and coming back means I brought beer from good old Florida.
Yeah, thank God you're back too, because I've been wanting to talk about this book for a while, and I've been putting together some minis. I've been fucking ready to do some Warhammer stuff.
I just flew through the rest of this the last 2 days. I was like, this shit's getting crazy. I have to finish.
Good deal.
But beer I brought, it is Mcguire's Irish Red. It is from Mcguire's Irish Pub in Destin, Florida. This cool little Irish pub restaurant. Delicious food. I had a what did I have? It was a prime rib. It was delicious.
Was it huge?
It was pretty big.
And did they serve big onion rings as an appetizer or a big pretzel? It's a big pretzel that
you can get pretzels.
Yeah, I think it's a chain in Florida. I think I went there when I was in Pensacola.
I could see that. Yeah, I mean, Destin's not that far away from that anyway.
I didn't know. Oh yes, they did brew their own beer. Oh my god, we went to the same place. We went to the same place
on Tuesdays, which is the day, or maybe it was Wednesdays. One of those days, they have double shot fucking shit. What are they called? Martinis for $3.50.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was dangerous. I was like, dude, I'm gonna die here.
Oh, that reminds me of a comedy skit. I can't remember what comedy skit it was. It was like, sometimes when the deals on the drinks are too good, it makes you really scared. Like nickel shot night. Nope, I am not going to that. I don't want to die. But this is interesting. It's weird. I thought it was so strange that you brought back an Irish beer from Florida as I drop a bit of it.
Yes, I was watching. I was like, damn it, it's gonna go.
My bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like a place we stopped in. I mean, they had a gift shop that had their beer in it.
It's a good beer though.
Well, I mean, originally I bought the 6-pack for myself, and I was gonna just get drunk that night. But I drank 2 and was like, I should save these for the podcast.
And you probably got drunk anyway.
I was probably already drunk.
Good deal. All right, well, that's exciting.
Yep. Before we go into No Fear, though, which I'm really fucking excited to talk about, we have lots of things for you guys to do.
Yes, we do.
You should email us.
You should. I don't know what that was. It was a lot.
But yeah, email us if you have comments, questions, feedback. Tell us what to drink. Whatever. You can do that by email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Had a new person recently reach out to us after the Emperor's Plan. Big hit. He really enjoyed it.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't tell you. It was really cool. I'll let you read that later.
Sweet. Well, thank you.
You can tweet at us at the Heresy Lodge. No, it's not the. It's just at Heresy Lodge. Our Discord is pinned to that as well. Do all the same things as on email. Also, if you're listening to us, we also have a YouTube. Please like and subscribe. If you're watching on the YouTube, please like. If you haven't subscribed, you should subscribe.
We just released a new video today, actually, or it would be yesterday when this is released. 2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Today is Wednesday, sir.
3
this
days
release
ago.
is on Saturday.
It's going so slow. 3 days ago, we released a video about what you have to do to start the Warhammer 40k hobby. It's going to be our launch series, and to bring the tabletop into the channel, which is kind of being a slow process.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of painting, lots of
building, editing, recording, bunch of extra shit. Plus, we have limited time.
And budget, too.
Yes.
That's a big thing.
Budget, too. Shit's expensive for Warhammer.
Not only that, just extra stuff with lights and camera stuff I think we're going to have to do before we go into the whole battle report scenarios.
Yeah. I'm getting a new phone that can record in 4K.
Oh, how interesting. I wonder.
How good it is?
Yeah, we'll
see.
We'll have to test it out.
Let's see what Apple does for us. But, other than that, guys, no fucking fear. This is the preview for it. I wish we could just spoil the fuck out of it because it's so good, but...
It's really good. So here's the thing. No Fear, written by Dan Abnett. So Dan Abnett, up until this point, if we kind of go back and look at all of the books that he's written, he wrote Horus Rising, Legion, Prospero Burns, and No Fear. All books that are good.
Yeah, the only thing that haven't been top notch or some of the short stories.
Yes.
Like the Custodia one in like Tales of Heresy, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like it didn't read like a Dan Abnett.
This is what's interesting about Dan Abnett to me. Before this, even with Legion, because Legion was probably the favorite that he wrote before this.
Yeah, for me.
It wasn't like amazing. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, you just blew my mind.
Yeah.
But none of his books have been bad.
No, they're all
he's
they're all
very
solid.
Consistent writer. And it seems like he has like this like each writer in my mind is kind of coming. I want to talk about this after our Primarch. I want this to be like one of the things we talk about. But Dan Abnett killed it with this book. Like he finally kind of broke through. Like he's been consistent, solid writer, and he finally came through and just like, let me deliver this masterpiece.
Yeah. And about this too is like it's written very differently.
Very differently, but really good. Like this would be a solid movie.
Yeah, and honestly, like it's kind of how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like the last like quarter.
Yep.
I'm just like, holy fuck, I have to keep getting through this.
Yes, I will say before we kind of go into the synopsis, it's my third favorite book.
And I was thinking, I was trying to like do my list,
and it's not. My top two favorite books, of course, are Fulgrim and Thousand Sons, and those two are just groundbreaking in my mind. And this doesn't reach there for some reasons that we can discuss later in this episode.
I think this is my fourth favorite.
Ooh, really? What do you think goes before it?
First Heretic.
I like that.
And the reason is, First Heretic is more story, where this is like, it's just like a fucking action movie.
This book has one huge flaw.
Is that there's no story?
It's not the fact that there's no story. That's one flaw. So it has multiple, but its biggest flaw is like super apparent to me as I got like halfway through the book. And it's the fact that there's like 55 characters.
Yes, and I only remember like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And the only ones those are at least the only ones I care about.
Exactly. So the problem is this book starts off introducing you to characters, and in the beginning it's a huge information overload. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
Dude, I think like I was like halfway through and I was still like, who are these guys?
Exactly. That was the biggest problem with this book.
Yeah, like the dude that was Thiel, I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Until like the end. I was like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh, shit.
Because you get introduced to him. I did this with multiple characters. Once you get about halfway through the book, more characters will pop up and they become interesting. And you're like, where the fuck were they in the beginning? And you have to flip through, like all.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Ol? I think it's Ol.
Ol and Thiel.
Ol person.
Ol and Thiel are the two big ones that come to my mind. Where I was like, both of those, I had to go back. And I was like, who the fuck are these guys? Because their story's getting really interesting.
Yeah.
And we see the return. I remember I texted you when I read it. The return of one character previously that we saw.
Oh, I didn't even think about who it was until just now. Yeah.
It was a good time. Very short-lived, but still.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, holy fuck, this guy knows this guy.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the big flaws I saw in it, and that reason alone is probably why it's not like insanely good. Another thing I saw is there is no story and there is no surprise.
Yeah.
So the book is written to be this like, it's almost like Pearl Harbor, right? It's like watching the movie Pearl Harbor or the movie Titanic. Like it starts out and like, oh, this is great, but based off of history what's going to happen. You know that the word bearers have turned. You know that Calth went pretty poorly for the Ultramarines at this point. So you're like kind of reading, kind of anticipating for shit to happen.
Yeah.
So there's no shock factor to the reader. Like when you watch the Titanic and it sinks, you're like, oh yeah, I guess that did happen.
Yeah. I think the only like shock factor is the fight with Corfarion. And even then, like that doesn't even have like a crazy like resolution.
Yes. So that's the third problem I had with this book is
I really want to have that conversation.
Yes.
Because I think we're going to be on the same page. Yeah.
A little bit. That's the third problem I have with this book is it's a bit of a two-parter here. One is it didn't really resolve anything.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first book that I think was too short.
Yeah, it was really short.
There was especially at the end, there were like I was interested.
Yeah.
There were like sentences that were said, like, oh, and then it turned out to be the greatest space battle in history. That was it.
I wonder if we get that in Betrayer, maybe.
Maybe. And then we get the ending of All's story, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. I've been like so invested in all this stuff, and yeah, the fight with Corfarion, I was like, that was a shock to me, and I was robbed.
Yes.
I was like super happy.
Yeah, I was like, at least something cool came out of this.
And then I was robbed. But like all in all, this is the good part about the book. We just kind of bashed it for the past like 5 minutes. The good part is simply the fact that it is an amazingly written war story.
Yeah, it's just a super easy, quick read.
Yeah, and like it's not boring at all.
Mm-mm.
There's never a time where you're like, I feel like this is dragging on.
Yeah.
The fighting is a lot of times when books describe fighting, it can be tiresome.
Yeah.
This is Dan Abnett's like area of specialty.
Yeah.
He does an
really
amazing
good.
job at this. So he just took this like amazing war story and turned it into a fantastic novel. So kudos to Dan for that.
It's very good.
Let's go over the synopsis.
Sure.
Of what you need to know before going into No Fear and kind of what the book is about. Obviously, you need to know that the 13th Legion is the Ultramarines. The Ultramarines, I think it's important that we revisit the first Heretic because a lot of that book kind of comes up in here, specifically Monarchia.
I just wanted to look at the character page real quick.
This is the first book that has 2 pages of characters.
It's 4 pages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
So it's important to remember the raising of Monarchia, which is when the Emperor decided to punish the word bearers by teaching them a lesson, because the word bearers were spreading their worship of the Emperor to the planets that they conquer. So the Emperor asked the Ultramarines and Gilman to destroy one of the planets they conquered, which was Monarchia. And that kind of that's what pushed the word bearers over the edge.
Yeah.
To become traitors and to ultimately really fucking hate the Ultramarines.
Yeah, they definitely fucking hate them.
Yeah. And we get like the interesting viewpoint of the Ultramarines in this, because the feeling is not actually mutual.
No. Some of them almost kind of like feel bad.
Yeah, they hate that they were used for that.
Yeah.
So that's what I was suspecting. Remember when we had this talk in the first Heretic?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that Gilman was like pumped about doing this, and we find out that he's not.
Yeah.
But we also get the fact that like, yeah, Gilman's not pumped about doing this, but he does hate Lorgar. He doesn't hate the word bearers, but he does hate Lorgar.
It's because Lorgar's such a bitch.
He's such a bitch. Yeah, I love like the fucking moment in this book where Gilman is basically like, he's such a bitch.
Yep.
I was like, thank the gods someone finally fucking said it, other than Corvus Corax and fucking Nighthawk.
Yeah, I just love the part too where like Gilman's just like, Lorgar, I'm gonna rip out your fucking heart. I was like, oh shit! All right.
It was cool. It was cool, and yeah, very interesting. Other thing we have to know, obviously, like we just said, the War Bears have turned traitor. They are taking part in the Isfahan massacre. What I didn't know, though, that is very important for this book, and it doesn't really tell you until a little bit later, is Isfahan has already happened, obviously, because the War Bears are here, and because of the Warp Storms, the Ultramarines don't know about it.
They don't know shit.
As a matter of fact, the only people they have contact with is the Traitor Legions. So Horus is asking Gilman to basically do a joint training thing against an orc population.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is a lie, and Horus is using this to stage like a coup to destroy the Ultramarines, which is really smart, and Horus is really fucking killing it, honestly. Like, after this book, it's like, Jesus Christ, Horus is probably going to win this. So the Ultramarines obviously believe that they're about to fight orcs, and the concept that they think is happening right now is Horus is using this scenario because they're bringing like almost all the Legion.
Yeah.
Like 2/3 of their Legion.
Yeah.
And the War Bears are bringing 2/3 of their Legion. And it's supposed to be like this uniting thing. Like, of course they're going to destroy the fucking orcs. We've got a million fucking space marines and a fuck ton of ships in orbit. we're gonna easily kill the orcs.
Yeah, nothing.
And it's just used to like mend the bond between the Warbearers and the Ultramarines. And there's multiple times that the Ultramarines are thinking about this, and they're like, "That's really smart." Like they're praising Horus for being such a smart war master because they don't want the Warbearers to hate him. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely. Although I was thinking too, like, I guess Lorgar knows that he couldn't just fucking go on there and, like, declare war because he's a fucking bitch.
He'd get the shit kicked out of him.
You have Lehman Russ who'd be like, "I am coming to fuck your asshole."
Lehman Russ would
Lorgar's like, "Hey guys, we're best buds."
Lehman Russ would like send his whole armada, stop, send you a message, and be like, "I'm gonna give you 25 minutes to set up,
and then I'm gonna come rape your asshole."
There's nothing that you're gonna be able to do about it. Planetary defense, hilarious. Yeah, that is funny to think about how, and we kind of get this conversation here too about how the Ward Bears are literally just they only win based off of treachery.
Yeah,
they're getting their ass kicked every other time. And
they really are.
There's a lot of like word bearer hate in this, and I love it. How they're just bitches.
Dan Abnett's like, "Oh, I can't wait to write this shit. I hate these motherfuckers."
Yeah, and like they're really cool legion. Like ADB made them interesting.
Yeah.
They're still annoying. Like he did a
I
really
hate
good
them.
job. He did such a good job at like making you hate them still, but making them interesting. They're interesting to hate.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the setup for this. Obviously, things go wrong. The word bearers attack. They are in full swing with their warp magic. Like they're doing crazy shit now.
I mean, they're just fucking straight up cultists like chanting.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time.
So at the beginning of the book, this was confusing to me, but I think it is how it is. There are some. It is how it is. There are some forces from the word bearers already on Calth.
I think.
Like mustering.
Yeah.
Which is very strange. So like the Imperial guardsmen that are stationed within the word bearers, they're actually cultists now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like really fucking weird.
Yeah.
But they're on Calth. Like on the planet. Yeah. So some word bearers as well are also on the planet. But yeah, they do all kinds of crazy warp fuckery in this. And that's what really gives them the advantage to win. Yeah. They couldn't launch a surprise attack without it.
No. I mean, there was some like really cool shit that happened. Like what they were trying to do with like the system.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
They're fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
They did some crazy shit. And what's kind of frustrating about this is they kind of win a fourth of the way through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the rest is just kind of the Ultramarines figuring it out.
Pretty much.
How do we get the fuck out of here? So it is interesting. How do you feel about Rabute Gilman?
You know,
because we see him a lot in this book. There's like a lot from his point of view, that kind of stuff.
I thought he was like actually like pretty interesting for a while, and then it got to the end.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this dude kind of sucks.
Yeah, like with what happens to him.
Yes.
Yeah, he
I found him like interesting, where it was like, I imagine the dude that wrote like Art of War. I imagine like that as like Gilman.
Yeah. I still view him that way. I honestly think like his power lies within assessing the tactical situation.
Yeah.
So this is something that comes up a lot in this book. It's like how the Ultramarines think. They do. Dan Abnett does an amazing job.
It was really cool how they have like a
theoretical.
Yeah, theoretical and a practical.
Yeah. So basically,
I almost said theatrical.
Yeah.
we make a play.
And then we pretend to shoot. Die.
Kabooey.
Well, they kind of do that, actually.
We read that short story.
They do have theatrical.
It's on the list.
Oh my gosh. So they break things down into the concept of theoreticals and practicals. And theoreticals are like the strategy and what they believe the outcome is going to be, and the practical is how they're going to execute it.
Yep.
So really interesting. And Dan Abnett, like this pops up like all the time, so you really get an understanding of like how almost every Ultramarine out there is like constantly like trying to figure out what the best tactical decision is.
Yeah.
Way more so than any other Legion.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they make like really big impacts. Like it's really good. Like I definitely think the Ultramarines as Space Marines are really solid Space Marines.
I mean, they are the poster boys for a reason.
Yeah, like when you compare them to something like a World Eater or a Death Guard or an Emperor's Children, even like they're better.
Yeah.
Because they think the situation through. Even Gilman at this point is like, when all shit goes to hell, right? He's like, okay, well, let's not abandon our intelligence.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see how you have Primarchs, and you'll read in the Primarch book like Ferrus Manus, who are like,
fuck it, I gotta kill him.
Fuck everything that's smart. I just need to go in and murder something. That's stupid.
Yeah, I mean, even though, even if I guess, like, even if they didn't charge, they probably still would have died because they're still gonna be flanked by a bunch of fucking ships.
Right.
So I mean, either way, they were probably dead. But him just going in there not knowing that, dumb as fuck.
Exactly. I would agree. Like, are you talking to his fan?
Yeah.
So that's something that occurs in this book a lot. I think it would be beneficial to our viewers to go through the list of characters.
Whew.
I've got a pretty good sense of it.
So
there's 2 pages here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through these characters and give you a synopsis of who they are and whether or not they're a character that you should pay a lot of attention to or no attention to, because it might just, their name, there's a lot of Space Marines whose names just kind of pop up and nothing happens with them.
Yeah.
That's important. So
first off on the list, Gilman. I guess you should pay attention to the Primarch.
Yes, you should pay attention to the Primarch. That is very important. Then we have 2 characters. One is Nicodemus, and one is Leomid.
Yes.
Eacos Leomid. So those characters are Tetrarchs. So what Tetrarchs are is they're basically like, there's a certain amount of worlds within Ultramar that are considered like holy worlds or something like that, and Calth is on its way to becoming one. And every time there's one of those worlds, Gilman appoints a Space Marine as its like main
champion.
Yeah, champion essentially. So these are like the best Space Marines that the Ultramarines have to offer.
Yeah, they have like really like golden armor and stuff too. Like they like described them as pretty badass.
They were pretty badass. Neither of them are really important.
I don't even remember seeing Nicodemus.
He
I
comes
remember
in
seeing
at
Lamy.
the very, very end. Like he just
oh
shows
yeah,
up.
I thought that was the other one.
Yeah.
That came in with Telemarchus.
Yeah.
Telemachus.
So neither of them are super important. You'll see Leomund pop up a couple times. They don't really do anything. Like so like just like that's the important part about them. Like I think the whole point of them is to introduce the fact that they're really important.
So for someone somewhere.
Yeah. And then we have Justarius and Telemachus. They're both dreadnoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Justarius is not that important.
Yeah.
He's a dreadnought that just kind of shows up at one point and then like disappears and then shows up again at the very end.
Yeah, I think he's the one that like talks to Telemachus when
Yes.
they like wake up.
Telemachus is, if I were rating him, like everyone so far is an F. Telemachus is D.
Yeah,
he's so cool.
He could be so interesting, but we didn't get anything of him.
It was interesting. We got like a point of view of a dreadnought. This is the first time. That was cool. Other than I think we saw a point of view of an Emperor's Children dreadnought at one point. So this was like his like thought process of like he had just become a dreadnought.
Yeah,
and he was
really
like
cool.
thinking about how he has no arms or legs. And it's like he's like in this fucking sarcophagus.
Yeah, and he was like talking about like how like he's told that he's just always going to be angry.
Yeah.
Because like he can't move his body. Also, one other thing I did not like about this book, they say no fear, like 80 fucking
They
times. I'm
do.
like, oh my god, I understand. You're a fucking space marine. You aren't supposed to
Yes.
have fear.
Yeah, we do see that a lot. Like it loses its shock factor. Like if you say the title of the book
Yeah.
that many times, Telemachus says it like every other sentence.
Yes.
Because he's like, we're not supposed to know fear, but I know fear, or something like
Yeah.
that. And it's very strange. Marius Gage, he's the dude. He's the first guy, like
Yep.
number one, Space Marine numero uno.
Gilman's right hand man.
Yeah. We see him pretty consistently. He is A tier important, I
Yep.
would say. He's not that interesting of a character though.
No.
Not at all. He kind of is just like regular first captain, right hand man business. He appears. He fights a demon at one point. He loses. I wouldn't say he's like amazing at combat. We don't
No.
really get to see that.
Although I mean, he kind of like starts off a little handicapped.
Yeah, he's also like very emotional. I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh, like he's definitely gay for his Primarch.
Yeah. 100%.
So he pops up quite a bit. All right, the two most important characters in this book are Remus Ventanus and Caius Celaton. Ventanus and Celaton, most important characters. Would you say?
I would say those two. Thiel.
Yeah.
And Ol.
Yeah.
Probably.
Kinda. Yeah. Yeah. So you will see more of Ventanus and Celaton in this book than any other character, I would say. Ol only pops up 5 times, maybe.
Yeah.
Thiel only pops up near the end more often.
Mm-hmm.
But Ventanus and Celaton are consistent throughout the book. Ventanus is a badass.
Yes.
He is really fucking cool to read. He is definitely like the... And the way his story ends is like, I had no idea. That was one thing that was a shock to me. I was like, I did not know that about Calth and like the whole thing and how it ended. And Celaton is just a so basically Ventanus is the captain. He's a captain in the 4th. Celaton is a sergeant in the 4th. And they are together throughout, like, before everything goes to shit, they get sent on a mission to talk with a diplomat on the planet Calth about some administrative stuff.
Yeah.
And it really follows their journey on Calth and everything that happens. Then we have Sidance, Archo, Anacreon, Baka, and Neron Vetien. They're not really that fucking important.
At least Sidance has like a story.
A small story. So,
yeah, his is at least interesting. Like he has like a running joke with fucking Vitanus about
how many
these
Eldars
they
painted
killed.
Eldar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what happens is, for a majority of the book, Ventanus and Celaton are separated from their company because when shit goes down, they're basically quite a few miles in the opposite direction. Yeah. So it follows them, and then they end up getting in contact with the company, and it's led by Sidance.
Yep.
And so he comes back, and there's some talks, but I wouldn't consider him like a very important character.
Yeah, I would put him like D.
Yes. Continuing on, we have Damocles, Domitian, Raelian, and Adram. Completely fucking D-level.
I don't even remember
characters. So Damocles is one that I vaguely. They're basically they get introduced. Doesn't talk about them, and then in the very end, they're like, and then Damocles shows up, and it's like, okay, cool. There's Damocles. And then you have like even characters that like make even less of an impact.
Yes.
Evaxian, Amont. Don't worry about them.
Nope.
I don't remember those guys.
Not at all.
I like read through a lot of this book twice, honestly, trying to understanding. Lorcas seems familiar though.
Nope.
Nope.
Ring no bells.
Okay. Lorcas, Aethon, Ericon Gaius, Tylos Rubio, Honoria.
Don't even remember some of these names.
All of those names. There are Space Marines that they will appear and either die or just reappear in the end.
They're all captains too.
Yeah, like they're a thing. Then we get to a name that we know, Solis. Solis is an older Space Marine, and he's the 39th company, and his company is Grievous. So he meets up with Ventanus and Celaton at one point.
Yeah.
And Solis is actually an interesting character. He only shines for about a third of the book, but his story is interesting to me. He's the older captain that kind of caused some problems and was all depressed about the situation. Yeah. And so his story is interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, I liked his too.
Then we have more people. Atreus, Impion, Varid. Nope. Not important. Eratus, Fastrix, and Cheese. So these are also Space Marines that have very small amounts of stories.
But supposed to be super like famous.
And then appear at the end.
Yep.
Like they're very completely not even important in my mind. And then we have Tyrone. I have no idea where that name ever came up in the book.
Not an idea at all.
And then we have Annette Thiel. So Thiel is a really fucking cool character.
Yes.
Thiel he's just a sergeant, right?
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a sergeant. So basically, he was marked before this book.
And this is very like, I guess if this was to be like, if I was to have a connection, it'd be this one with like the Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
With having the big big red thing saying like, hey, this person fucked up.
Slut.
Yes. Damn it,
Thiel is a damn slut with the Scarlet Letter. Oh, you got a little too handsy with the Primarch one day, Thiel.
Yes. But how it works in the Ultramarines is if you have a red helmet, it means you did something to piss somebody off.
It's called marked for censor, so you're supposed to get chewed out, basically. And Thiel's been marked multiple times, apparently. Thiel is very much like, in the beginning, he's comic relief.
Yeah, I really liked him.
And he turns into this badass.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh my god, like this dude's like Star-Lord kind of thing. Like that's kind of the vibe I get from him. It's just very like cocky and like smart. Like everything he does is super smart. And everyone's like, why the fuck is he doing it that way? And then Gilman will show up and be like, no, this dude's a fucking genius.
Yeah, it's really cool too because like at the beginning, like we have Thiel and he's like supposed to be getting like reprimanded and he's like, oh, better go see the captain again. And you're like, no. You gotta go to the Primarch. He's like, fuck.
God, the Primarch, son of a bitch.
It's like, damn, I'm in real big trouble.
And his like first scene is so funny to me, where he's like just chilling in the room, waiting. Yeah. So that's the thing about Thiel. So you'll see Thiel pop up in the beginning. Pay attention to him, because he'll go like for almost the middle half of the book. He almost doesn't appear.
And then he's just like nonstop. It's like, oh, this guy's so cool.
Like out of nowhere, he appears again. And he appears in a really badass way.
Yes, he does.
And then the more you start hearing about him, like when you find out what he's marked for censure for, you're like, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh fuck, this is probably my favorite Ultramarine.
Yeah, so far I would agree. Thiel and Ventanus are really fucking cool Ultramarines.
I think Thiel's my favorite just because like Ventanus is your Loken.
Ventanus is your Loken.
Thiel's just like a fucking wild card. You don't know what you're getting.
Thiel is like one of the characters that stands out, like Skarkus and and fucking Servitor. And then you have Thiel, the Ultramarine, that's always in trouble for doing the right thing. That's what I feel like Thiel's like. So he's a really good character, really well written. And then we continue down.
All right, Evidil Benzar. Sure. I don't even know what the fuck this name is. Oh, that's no, that's not even the apothecary. Huatonicus. No idea. Captain, 161st.
Don't know. Jair
does something. For a minute.
Jair does something, doesn't he?
He helps.
Oh, he is with Thiel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's important to note that some of these Space Marines are on Calth, and some of these Space Marines are on board the primary ship. I don't remember what the thing's called.
McCree Honor.
Yeah, McCree's Honor. McCragg's Honor.
You
It's
listen
not-
to the audiobook, didn't you?
It's not McCree. It's not fucking the dude from Overwatch running
Well,
around.
I used to say Makarage. Apparently it's not that one.
Definitely not Makarage. It's McCragg. McCragg's Honor. Thiel's definitely running around on McCragg's Honor. And Ventanus and Celaton in that group is on.
So where Gilman is as well.
On the McCragg's Honor, yeah. Curso, Bormaris, and Zabo.
Yep, those are guys.
I literally have like...
Fuck, there's still two more.
Oh, yeah.
Anteros. And Honorius Lucial.
Lucio's important. Where does Lucio come up?
I don't remember.
I do. Yes. Lucio is important in the first quarter. He is the most consider him the first
guy.
death
on
Calf. Yeah, so he actually has a very interesting story in the beginning and some of the best monologue scene with Lucio. So Lucio, what's important about his character, and I'll explain in the book, he's the only
really the
only fucking Ultramarine that has a word bearer friend. Out of all the Ultramarines, the biggest two legions, they found one connection. And what's so funny about it is in the very beginning when they're talking, he's like, this dude isn't even my friend. Like, we just happen to like share a bunker at one point. And they were like, that's the bond we need. That's it right there, you two. So they set them aside for this orc battle because they want to like use them as a
example
friendship bond between the legions. It's really cute.
Yeah, real cute. So next we get to go to the word bearers.
You know almost all of these guys.
Yep, we have Lorgar. We saw him for a minute. Gorfarion's a cunt.
Actually, we don't know if Lorgar was there.
This is true.
We have no idea.
Gorfarion was there. Erebus was there. Argol Tall, not really there.
We also don't know if he was there.
Yeah.
He appeared. Let's talk about Argotol for a fucking second, though, because that was another problem I had with this book that I have a bone to pick with.
The fact that the fucking Gal of Warback was there, but their captain wasn't?
The fact that there was like 100 Gal of Warback when after the end of the first Heretic, there was
37?
Like, there was like 12.
Oh, yeah.
There's like 12 Gal of Warback left. And like they're killing them in this book.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're telling me that they just so happen to run into the rest of the like 6 that are running around?
Yeah, because several of them died at Isfahan as well.
Yeah, like at the end, I'm pretty sure there was only 6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like Argoton, just like a few, like his like one captain was
not
still
the
alive.
dude that starts with an S.
Not Zaffirin.
Yeah, man, fuck that guy. He got fucked up by the Custodes.
It was awesome. Yeah, him and his captain and like 3 others. Like I think it might be like 5 or 6. Like I don't remember. We have Esamir Zote. I don't remember that guy Warback. Maybe I'm wrong.
I do not remember. It's downstairs in the bookshelf. Damn. But yeah, I don't remember that guy at all.
Yeah, so bit of an inconsistency unless the word bearers are creating more Gal Warback. By doing some weird shit. It's not really talked about in the first Heretic. It seemed like that was like it. Yeah. But maybe they're making more and it's just not discussed because we see them
doing ritual
quite a few times, in this book. And it's like that was one thing that was going through my mind. I was like, wait a minute, I thought these dudes were supposed to be like really rare now. Yeah,
although I mean when you have like the when they are killing the fucking Perfect Palace and the last book, and they had the word bearers there. They had like they were like demonized.
Yeah, but they weren't Gal Warback. So it was like what you start to see, especially with the word bearers and some of the other legions, because it talked about that in Deliverance Lost. Yeah, which is when they invade the Perfect Palace. Is like we don't know because the Alpha Legionnaire was like, what the fuck is going on with some of these other legions?
Yeah, it's like man, this is fucked up.
Yeah, but maybe they're making more.
It's possible.
We have Federal Fell. He is a guy that is in charge of the ground forces on Calth. Yeah. He has this like one scene about him where he's all like, I'm gonna be as good as the Primarch. Which is like, that's a low bar to shoot for, pal.
Dude, you're probably already stronger than he is.
You're already there. He's like, Erebus and Corfarion, they've lost favor with the Primarch. I'm like,
Happen.
yeah, they're probably lower than Lorgar, which is hard to do.
Well, honestly, they're actually probably technically above Lorgar.
I could see it. Like, yeah, it's annoying.
Lorgar's their bitch.
I hate Erebus,
Yeah.
but he is powerful.
Yeah.
Can't deny it.
Gorfarion's a bitch, though.
Yes, he is. He's actually a very big bitch.
Fodorol Fell? Don't remember him.
That's the guy I was just talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
Yeah. Morphile
Sixer.
He's another guy on charge. He appears as like the commander that fights Ventaris at the like mansion.
Yes.
So he's like kind of important.
What happens with him? I was like, holy fuck.
It was cool as fuck.
Yeah, that was like, when I read that, I was like, I have to finish this book right now.
Dan Abnett does such a good job at
Yeah.
the shit that he does, for sure. Yeah. And especially when with that scene with him. We have Hall Beloff.
Don't remember.
He did something. I can't remember for sure. Melico Cortho is the apostle of Hellbeloff. Serato Shure.
He's important.
He is important. He's probably the most important word bearer in this book. So he's chosen. So Serato Shure is the other side of the coin of Luciole. So he is the word bearer that has the Ultramarine friend.
Yep.
He's just kind of using this whole Cal situation as a power gain.
Yeah.
He does appear a lot in the book. Like you get a lot from his point of view. So he is kind of like the word bearer character, I would say. That appears most often. You get a lot from his side.
Yep.
I don't know about Lamar Knoll.
Don't remember him at all. Let's go ahead and move on to the Colts. The Ushmator Call.
So these are just Colts. So these are like so basically like we said earlier, the Imperial Guard that is following the word bearers have divided themselves into Colts. So we have the Brotherhood of the Knife.
Yep. Which we see a lot of those guys later.
Yes. The Recursive Family, the Ring, and the Gene Kin.
Fucking stupid ass names.
They are really stupid ass names. And the only character that really comes out of them that I think is important is Crowl Faust.
Yeah.
He doesn't really do anything
it's
super
just the
important. End. Yeah, just at the very end. And he's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Something about, so like the cult leaders are like promised like immortality. Like they like can't die. Like they can die, but it's like they get like
reborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's an archaeologist that was traveling around and decided that he wanted to like find the true gods, and he found that like the emperor was not a true god, and then he got put into the word bearers. It was like, thank God, because they know what's up.
They know who God is.
And of course, like he's probably one of the most annoying characters to read about, because the word bearers are also annoying characters to read about. They really killed it there. All right, Imperial Personae. This is the people that are not Space Marines. They are not a part of the Colts. We have Hest. Hest is the Mechanicum person in charge of Cal's defense grid.
Yep.
He's important for the first fourth of the book. Yeah. And then we have
Tauren.
Tauren. She is basically his wife.
Yeah, which that's what she says too. She's like, he is basically my husband.
Which
in
is
older
super
days.
strange.
And I was like, huh.
Yeah, because
Good for you.
they're both Mechanicum. They're both acolytes or something like that. Or she's a Magos. She's a Magos. So basically they're both working for the defense systems and the communications in Calth. You see them a lot in the first quarter, and then Théowen becomes very important later on. She is actually, I would say, another very A-list important character in this book. She is helping the Ultramarines get the defenses back online.
Yeah.
And like have some semblance of stability, because she's the
and
person.
trying to like reconnect like the Vox system, because like all communications are down too.
She's like my favorite Mechanicum person so far.
Yeah.
I mean, she's up there with
Fuck, what was her face from Mechanicum? The really badass bitch.
It was Zale, whatever. No.
Maybe that's what her name started with. But she was really fucking cool. The one that had was in the volcano that just said, "Fuck it, kill us."
Zeph.
Yes, that's it, Zeph.
Yep. So yeah, she's really cool. So this person, Taewon, it was like one of the first times I saw a point of view of Mechanicum that I was like, oh, like not only are you Mechanicum, but like you're also human.
Yeah.
And you're also loyal to the Emperor. It was like a combination.
Yeah.
And it was like, this makes sense. Like I don't think Taewon could be like bought.
Yeah.
Like every other Mechanicum person I've seen. So it's cool to see that. Because in my mind, whenever I see the Mechanicum, I'm like, whoever just gives them the best technology.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not the case here.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot in Hest as well.
Yeah, I liked both of them a lot. Magos Oldor, I don't remember him.
It's Taewon's like.
Oh yeah,
follower. It's like her second in command. She does some cool stuff.
Yep. Aruk is cool. He's the master of Skatari.
Yeah. So Aruk is. So the Skatari are obviously a part of the Mechanicum, but they're like the warrior caste of the Mechanicum. So Aruk is following Taewon around and providing her escort, and eventually Taewon and Aruk meet up with Ventanus and Celaton, and they become like the Force. That's when things start to converge together.
Yeah, and then Saramika is like the same way, also Skatari. Shipmaster Zazar.
We don't see a lot of him.
Yeah, he's just kind of there at the end.
Bohan Zedov. Not really sure.
Representative.
Well, representative. I think it's
just representative.
Representative.
Magos Pellet. Don't remember Magos.
Yes. I don't know any of these.
Maybe someone on the ship. Might have been just ship people, ship hands. Yeah, because they're on the Krieg's Honor. Maybe he's the person that. I don't remember.
I don't know either. I don't remember seeing those names or like the shipmasters. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Imperial Army, Colonel Sparzy.
Yeah, so basically, Colonel Sparzy is the army, the Imperial Army portion that gets attached to Taewon and Ventanus.
Yeah.
So you have like the Mechanicum, the Ultramarines, and the Imperial Army, and Sparzy is a portion of the Imperial Army that gets into that detachment.
Yep. The next three are all part of the 61st.
Yep. Hellock, less important character. He is so all three of these characters are part of the 61st. It's just a regiment. You get to see like what happens on Calth from an Imperial Army perspective. Hellock is not as important, but Crank and Rain are.
Dude, at first I thought Rain, because his first name's Bale, I was like, wait, is this Baelai? Not Baelai. Definitely not.
No. So we have Dojin Crank. So Dojin Crank is just a guy in the Imperial Army, but he's friends with Bale Rain. Bale Rain is a character that just got married. He is annoying. He just got married. It talks about his love life.
Yeah, it's weird because at one point he's like, I don't even love her.
I don't love her. And then the rest of the book he's like, I am so in love with this woman.
Oh, I hear her. She's calling my name.
You never meet her. She definitely died. 100%.
Oh, she got fucked up. She probably had the round with the Colts.
Like 99.999% of people on Cal died.
They got fucked.
Yeah, so she's definitely dead. But
we're gonna move to the citizens of Calth. I'll just go ahead and skip the first person just because the last three all got to meet good old person.
All Pearson.
Old person.
I'm gonna say Pearson because in the audiobook it was all Pearson.
See, I thought like the whole joke was like old person because
he's old, but he's
very
not.
old.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We don't want to spoil too much. We won't reveal that. But All is a insanely important character in this book. We're going to put him up at A. We hope he's important going forward.
He fucking better be. I'm really upset.
He's a really interesting character.
Yeah.
But he meets up in the... He's basically a farmer when we get introduced to him. He's a farmer on Calth. And we're like, why are we
following a farmer? I thought the same thing. I was like, what is happening right now?
I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna just be like the citizen's point of view, and then he's gonna die. He didn't.
His whole thing too was like, I'm just retired from my army.
Like,
I heard there was this whole new planet with good farming, so I came to Calf.
I
And
admit
it's a
it.
good time.
I'm tired. No one knows I used to kill people
Yeah,
for a living.
except for that las rifle above my chimney.
Above the mantle.
Yeah, on the mantle.
On the mantle's the las rifle. Let me tell you, it reminds me of the good old days.
Yep, yes, sir.
Man, I shot so many Japs.
Japanese, Vietnamese,
All the
Iraqis,
the Neeses. The
Russian,
Chinese.
German,
The Germanese.
hopefully the French.
Both.
I don't think we have any French listeners. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So his story gets really interesting about halfway through the book. He's definitely one of the characters you want to pay attention to in the beginning.
Yes.
Because when I got to his halfway through the book, and the next time I read about him, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Because it was
times.
really important. Like, that scene was really important, and I was reading it. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And I had to flip back through, and I was like,
all right, who was this guy again?
Because all of a sudden, his story's getting cool. He eventually, he has a servitor named Graft. He has workers named Zybes and Nat, or Kate. Sorry.
I think it's Cat.
Cat, yes, not Nat. I was reading Neve, but yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Graft, Zybes, Cat. They're all employees of All, and Graft is his servitor. And they eventually meet up with the fleeing Balerain and Dojin Crank. And their whole group, their story, is really interesting, but incredibly unfulfilling.
I will say too, we get a surprise appearance.
Not listed in this book.
Not listed in this book, and it was fucking. I was just like, who? Why is he here? What's going on?
Yeah, I saw his name and I was like, ooh,
Time out.
shit's about to get cool.
Yeah.
And it did, but didn't really culminate to anything. So there are two parts of this book and the way it ends that I think we're gonna get more of. Obviously,
Yes.
we're gonna see.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Betrayer is like the sequel to this.
Awesome, because there is a lot of stuff that we still need to know.
Yes.
Obviously. The book is written in a series of. It's actually like a pretty well flowed book.
Yeah.
Basically, every single section, it's broken down to 10 hours before.
Yeah, it's like
engagement.
It's like logs. Like if you ever played like Fallout, and you could go and open one of the terminals. That's kind of how it's written.
It's not how it's written at all.
It totally is. You have the timestamp and everything. You can just go down and see oh, this story. Oh, this is continued here.
I've never seen that episode of Stranger Things.
I'm sure you haven't.
Yeah, you're right. It's actually exactly like that. Very well written. I think it's my third favorite. I like this book a lot because when I think about my two favorite books, Fulgrim and Thousand Suns, they're Graham McNeill does so well with tragedies. And
Yes.
they're tragedies. And they're phenomenal stories you can read alone.
Yeah.
You don't have to be reading The Horse Heresy to read Fulgrim and Thousand Suns and be like, this is fucking a great book.
Yeah.
No Fear is third for me, but it doesn't break that barrier. But it's up there because it does so well as such a different book. It's a war book.
It's awesome.
It's really well done.
It's like reading a movie.
Exactly. The First Heretic, it's not. I wouldn't call that a tragedy, but there's so much more meat to that. This has no meat.
It's just fucking.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's like It's like the difference between watching Batman: The Dark Knight and Avengers. This is Avengers because it's exploding in your face all the time.
Yeah.
But there's no storyline to it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And The Dark Knight is Thousand Suns or Fulgrim, where it's this is really intriguing and interesting.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I mean, the reason I put First Heretic above this one is just because of
it's really good. I get
the
it.
story is just there's just so much.
I get it.
And the fall of Calth is obviously the Ultramarines are crushed by it, but the way they fucking Monarchy happened, the Emperor making them all just fucking bend.
It was good.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah, it was great.
That was just like such a fucking dick wave move. It was like, damn.
When it comes to like the book tiers, I want to get into this after Primarchs, but when it comes to the book tiers, I really think like For 1000 Suns, step above. And then I think of First Heretic, No No Fear, and Legion. And like those three are like the standards.
You have like S, A.
Yeah, and then like a B plus to me would be like a Battle for the Abyss. In my mind, I think like those books are probably the top notch, and then maybe like Galaxy and Flames at the same level as well. Because Galaxy and Flames, like just the scene of him in the warp, was just like a phenomenal read. So, yeah.
So, Porch of the Heresy.
10.
Yep, 10.
Big 10. There's not a lot of story to it, but you need to know what happened.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even though there is not a lot of story to it, it completely just like changes the heresy.
Yeah, that and like with how big the Ultramarines are, the fact that like they've had zero impact, and then like the first time you see them, they just get fucked.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so important to know like
important.
What's going on.
Personal enjoyment, 8, 8.5.
I put it at 9.
9.
I'm not even kidding. Like I got to like 100 pages left last night, and I was like, I'm finishing this. Because this is fucking crazy.
I finished as well. I've taken the lead again, guys. I'm ahead.
Yeah, well, I was hoping to do more reading on vacation, but
I didn't do that much either on vacation.
Alex kept wanting to fucking walk on the beach. I'm like, babe, I'm trying to read.
I get that. I didn't have that experience.
Gotta get on the beach walking.
No. Well, it was super windy when I went.
No, it was nice, like, every single day.
We just
like,
kept having amazing sex. That's what happened. I wish.
I was playing Warhammer.
No, we actually did a lot of like excursion stuff when I went, like parasailing, stuff like that. Nice. It was a lot of fun. So yeah,
that was No Fear.
No Fear. I can't wait to talk to next
the
week.
review's gonna be so much better because like
there's a lot to spoil in this book.
Yeah, it was really hard not to.
Mm-hmm. So we don't want to do that. Obviously, I don't think that there's a lot of listeners that are actually following along.
There's a few.
You think so?
Well, I know so. One of the ones that I had, someone tweeted me and they're like, just finished Horse Race and listened to your guys' episode so I can follow along. I was like, man, I'm cool. Really sorry starting where you are. I promise we get better.
Yes, yeah. Anyone that's deciding to listen early on, like, huge asterisks. Like, hey, we get better audio quality, we kind of figure shit out, and we catch up to the books. Yeah, I was talking to one of the people in our Discord, which you should join, by the way, about how we have such a different aspect than a lot of other lore podcasts or YouTube channels, because a lot of times when they go out and make videos, they just research.
Yeah.
Even when they're talking about a book or a situation, and we talk about like, read this last week.
Yeah.
Like, here's all the information we know about it. So it's kind of cool. I like it that way a lot.
Yeah, you can definitely see like the difference too, like from like when we started to now. Like, because like back then we were like
missing a lot. We were missing a lot of key stuff because it was 2 months ago that we read it.
No, it was longer than that because like I wanted to say like I read like Horus Rising in
probably
like,
half a year almost.
In like March, and we started it in December. We're almost at our 1 year, by the way. I think for the 1 year I might do another giveaway.
Yeah. We've been missing out on giveaways. We need to definitely do something like that. For sure.
Yeah. So guys, that is your preview. No Fear. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Next week's gonna be better because we were trying really hard at the spoil shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
To contact us, if you have any comments, questions, tell us what to drink, whatever, you can email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. You can tweet us at heresylodge. You can join our Discord, which is pinned to the Twitter. We also have a new YouTube episode out about how to get started into Warhammer 40k. Be sure to like and subscribe on the YouTube. Leave any comments you have for us. If you think we missed something, if you want more detail about something, let us know. We will for sure comment back, let you know. I think that's it. Anything else coming up?
No, I don't think anything huge. Keep a look out for announcements on us doing battle reports. Probably be not super near future, but coming up in the next couple months.
So, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back next week to review No Fear. Have a good one, guys.